All right, so I've got Papa Roach are in Auckland tonight playing Spark Arena, and in the studio with me now, I've got Jacoby. Good to see you.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
I was apologising about the weather before. It's not really my fault, but double rainbows, always a happy day.
Who doesn't love a double rainbow?
So
remember that? Do you remember that viral video back in the day?
What does it mean?
Yes, just good. That's what it means.
That was before. That was like one of the first viral videos I think I ever saw on social media.
Yep, and then the internet just grabbed our brains and just melted them over the last 20 years.
I'm a doom scroller. Do you doom scroll?
I have to really watch myself on that because I will catch myself in a doom scroll and then I'm like, okay, enough for today. Yeah. It's like I finally reached that one meme and I'm like, okay, cool, enough for today.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that the whole world is like we're in a simulation, and that's when I start to think like that. It's like
you're just too much internet. I think the thing's built to like really warp our brains, so I have to be very mindful of it, and it's very healthy to be out in the real world. I'll tell you that, and I love that about what we do in music. It's like it puts us out there. We get out there, we get to meet people, we get on stage, we get to travel the world, and really see this whole beautiful thing from a lovely perspective, and being a traveler and a journeyer and a voyager out here, it's just like such a blessing.
And you're of the generation, we grew up without internet and phones and all of that. So we have an appreciation of living in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's generations now that they cannot be detached from, they're living life through a screen, which is so bizarre.
Definitely. I think a lot of people are, and I definitely think, a lot of people aren't as well. Like I got 2 kids in college and they're like, the internet never grabbed them. In some wild way. I'm like, God, I'm so grateful for it. They're just like, yeah, the internet's ridiculous. Like, I don't want to be on there. I'm like, cool, sick, keep it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it has its benefits. I mean, music today, like
totally
seeing how music has evolved from, when we used to get our vinyls to CDs, MIDI discs. Like that, we used to go snowboarding. I loved it when MIDI discs came out because they wouldn't skip. The CDs wouldn't skip when you went over the jumps.
Yeah, that's sick. That's so true, and it's pretty wild because vinyls now are making a comeback.
Yeah,
which is cool. I really like that my vinyl collection is expanding again.
Yeah.
And picking up all this stuff that I listened to in the 90s that are now on vinyl. It's just like, it's a vibe.
Because a lot of that music wasn't available on vinyl in the 90s. It was a tape or a CD.
Yeah, we're starting to release like a bunch of our older material on vinyl. And so it's just cool to like thumb through the collection and see like some old school Papa Roach in the collection. I'm like, we made it.
Yes.
We did it.
I mean, that's it. That's kind of the pinnacle of life is when you've got your own vinyl.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, man. We're actually working on artwork for our new album right now. And the way that we format the artwork is as if it were an LP.
Amazing.
Just an album. And so I can't wait to like see, we're getting the photo shoot going here in the next like week or 2 for the album cover. And it's just, I can't wait to just see it and hold it and feel it. And yeah, it's exciting.
I went and saw some vinyl being pressed the other day. It was my friend's album, actually. It was really cool, like watching them like from plastic beads to
and just smash
getting
it
squashed down, and then they've got to set and like wait for it to cool, and then they've got the whole graphics press happening as well with the inner sleeve, or if you're doing a fold out, and then it's just such a cool way to be hands on with music.
Absolutely, I think that creation process is still alive and well. It's like I think a lot of people are up in arms and, oh gosh, AI. And I'm like, people are already getting tired of seeing the AI art come in because you could just pick it out in a heartbeat. And so there's something that I think people really gravitate to when they know it's human and they know that there's been hands and thought put into it and hands on it and created with like thought and care. Yeah. And I feel like that is definitely going to be something that is important to people in the future. It's
people appreciate human-made things.
Yeah. And you know what? I can get on there and go, all right, AI, give me a suggestion for a training routine. Cool.
Yeah.
Valuable. Works, but it's like I don't need it to create my art.
Yeah, I'm like, do me a travel itinerary where
that I'll tell you what, that's pretty sick. Literally, I'm moving across country, and I made it make my travel itinerary for I want to travel for 5 days. I got dogs with me. Route me a route where I can go to hotels that are dog friendly, that are and it routed the whole thing for me. And I was just like, okay, cool, I like that. That works.
we play quite a bit of your music here. The fan favorite is Scars.
Oh, right
and
on.
Last Resort.
Yeah, so, those are the classics.
Can we dip into like when you were writing those and, you know, the effect that those songs, I mean, at the time they're pretty raw. For you writing it and then I guess performing those songs to people and the effect that they've had. Like, did you realize at the time when you were writing Last Resort that it was going to help people?
I had no idea. It was just one of those songs that at the time I was probably 18 or 19 years old, and my roommate attempted suicide. And that was just like gnarly, just to watch my friend go through this tragic life spiral and end in a suicide attempt and end up in the hospital. And it was just horrific. And that was really traumatic for not only myself, but the whole friend circle. And you know, as I ventured into the world of music and was writing about things, I was like, this is something I just need to process through music. So I wrote that song through first person, like to make it feel like I just didn't know how to like write it any other way. And I didn't realize like the true impact that song would have. I was just processing, right? And then the song was released and it just exploded and just spoke to people's hearts and minds. And you know, it was very kind of controversial at the time. It was heavily edited. A lot of the lyrics were edited out, and because the topic of, you know, suicide was definitely like a taboo. We didn't talk about it. And this is back in late 99. And so the mental health conversation has been part of our the fabric of our music since the beginning. And we traveled the world back in 2000, and I met thousands upon thousands of people that were just like, that song spoke to me in one of the most darkest places in my life. And it started this conversation, and it's continued. And the impact of that song has been overwhelmingly, insanely positive. I cannot tell you how many people I've met that have told me that song saved their lives. And I'm just like, wow. All right, God, like you put me in this position to like make music. Like, I don't want to screw it up. I'm grateful I can make music that can like touch people in a deep, meaningful, real way. And so I never understood the responsibility of music until that moment.
Yeah.
And I looked at it differently, and I understood music differently. And the way that I approached it was, this is cathartic for me. And, you know, fast forward to a song like Scars, I was going through another transition in my life. This is the first time I tried to get sober. I had a really hard time with just numbing myself and not dealing with a lot of the issues that I had from childhood into my young adult life, and finally like sobered up and was just looking at my life through a new pair of glasses. And that song just poured out of me. And it was there was a lot of guilt and shame kind of wrapped up into this song because, you know, some of the decisions I made in my life and the people that I surrounded myself and the influence that I had on those people, like what, like was I a bad influence on this person? You know, I remember I was selling weed back in the day, you know, and I would sell weed to teenagers, you know, and I'm like, as an adult, I look back at that, I'm like, dude, what was I doing? Like, you know what I mean? And so that song was about this story of like, I wish I didn't like influence you in that way. Like, but I want to be, cause I met a friend that like, I was selling him weed when he was like 15. And then he came back and I saw him and he was like 20 years old and he was on meth, you know, and I'm like, dude, was I part of opening that door? You know what I mean? And so there was this like heavy shame around that. And that's where that song was born from. And so I'm just grateful I didn't continue down that path in my life, you know, because it was like I was headed off into, you know, I'm like dabbling and selling weed. Like, where was I going to go next? And music was that thing that drew me out of that. And I've been able to process a lot of that dark, heavy stuff through this music and move on and grow and build and change and evolve into, you know, when I look in the mirror now, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm good with the man I am, you know, and I've made amends and I've righted wrongs, and I've done that through music.
Yeah. And
it's been such a powerful tool for healing for myself. But as I travel the world again and again, right, I go meet these people and they're like, dude, this song just spoke to me, you know? And so it's wild how, you know, a story from music, a lived experience can be put into music, which then can speak to somebody's heart that's living a dark, heavy experience themselves and inspire them to press through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think probably in today's world, people are getting more and more isolated, as we were talking about, sort of with social media. But it's great that music is still sort of that vehicle or that vessel that can still reach out and engage people, which is so cool that you get to travel around, like you were just in Australia and now you're here just for the one night tonight.
Yeah, one night only.
And do you think Kiwi audiences are different to any of your other audiences around the world?
You guys rip. You guys know how to rock. Straight up, last time we were here, we were with our friends in the Used. Show was great. It was memorable, and that's why we're back.
Yeah.
You know, it's a market that we want to continue to try to grow and build. And that's why we're back here.
Yeah.
So people, what's up? Pull up to the show tonight. You want to rock out with the Roach, dude?
Yeah.
A day to remember too, man. Shout out to those boys and our friends in Landmarks, the opening band. They're from France. They freaking rock. They're great.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're a great band.
So you're playing tonight at Spark Arena?
Yeah, doors I think are like 6.
Okay.
Yeah, opening band goes on at 6:45, 7. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
coming in.
It's
going to be a hell of a night.
It's going to be a hell ripper, I'm telling you.
It's going to be a ripper.
It's going to be a ripper, mate. Thanks so much for your time, Jacoby.
Hey, thanks for having me.